review and approve the minutes of our December meeting. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion.
A second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We have Rob Leonard who's taking minutes for the first time, so I just want to go over the requirements. They have to be filed in 48 hours with the town clerk. Town clerk actually has a specific email that you can send it to. If you can type it, great, scan it in. If typing is an issue, we've had a change in staffing as our staff person at the town hall. Lynn Glacy, who had been our staff person ever since I've been involved, has retired. So Jerry Shaw is now our staff person. I'm going to meet with her next week to see how we're going to use her as our staff person. I personally had a computer issue this week, so I had trouble sending out the minutes, which is why they came out late and they didn't come out in the usual format. And Jerry actually did it for me. Are we all computer literate that we can? I mean, your handwriting. So I know that you guys all type up your minutes, so you're comfortable just sending them off to the town clerk. So it's really up to you. If you're not comfortable typing them up, then
I just can't type presently.
okay, but you can type them at home.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Operate my
So if you type them home, that's great, and then send them to the town clerk within 48 hours, and also with a copy to Jerry Shaw. Just so, because she's going to be our record keeper, and so she knows that they came in. I know that she had to look for them this past month. And while we're on the subject of that, I want to talk with Jerry about how we should do the agenda, because I sort of just send out the proposed agenda, a few days in advance when I can get to it. I'm thinking about having her. Do we need more time for the proposed agenda? I know they came out too late this week. I mean, is sending it out if I have her send it out Monday, if I don't.
No, that works
Okay.
fine.
Okay. All right.
I
Fine.
try to get the stuff to you before then.
You do, and you're great. And so if there's anything you want to add to the agenda, try to get it to me before Monday of the week of our meeting, and then, as Jamie did, it gets incorporated into the proposed agenda. If not, then we have to modify it for the final agenda, and the final agendas need to be filed on Wednesday by 2, with the town clerk, so they can be posted on the website. So just so everybody knows what the logistics are. We have, moving on to item 2, the next in the Wisdom of Woodbridge First Selectman series is going to be this coming Tuesday night, January 19th at 7 p.m. at the JCC. And Nancy Yao Masbach, who's president of the Museum of Chinese in America, will discuss China's towns, and Chinese towns. And I hear she's a really interesting speaker. I know her personally, so I encourage anybody here and anybody who's listening to attend. Moving on to item 3, we have 2 guests here. I'm very excited because I saw our first guest is Air Temple Arts, who are very new to town. And it looks very cool. And so I'm looking forward to hearing about what your business is and what brought you to Woodbridge.
Awesome. Well, first of all, we just have a little video that Kayla, our studio manager, made. I'm Stacy, I'm the owner. And it's just a little welcome video. It's a kind of a tour of the studio. So we're just going to play that. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but there's just some ambient music.
We will try. I turned my laptop all the way, so.
So that's just a taste of what we do at the studio. Obviously, circus is a very visual medium, so it's better to see it than talk about it. But I started Air Temple almost exactly 3 years ago. It'll be 3 years on Saturday. My focus was to build a recreational circus community in Connecticut. We are the first recreational circus studio. And since then, we've really grown a lot. This is our second expansion, actually, and hopefully our final one, because they're kind of a pain in the butt to do. But we moved from New Haven because we were housed in a very old warehouse.
Where were you?
That was in the Trolley Square building, right off of 91 on State Street. And it's gone through a lot of like management upheaval and a bit of a mass exodus, and we stuck there for a while because it has very high ceilings, which are really hard to find. And I looked for a really long time in New Haven, and then we found the space that we're in now, and it was just head and shoulders above the space that we were in, and we could not get into Woodbridge fast enough. No. And it's a nicer community than where we were. There's not really a community over there, and you guys have been extremely welcoming, which was not our experience with New Haven, so we're really glad to be here.
Wonderful.
Yeah, do you have any questions that I can answer?
I do. So I actually looked at your website.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
And because I was very interested in what you do, and who's your target? Are you looking for kids? Are you looking for adults? Are you looking for both?
We're looking for both. The vast majority of our classes are actually adult classes. Most of our students are women in between the ages of like 20 and 35, though we do have men and older people and younger people as well. We're really trying to expand our children's programming now that we're in Woodbridge, which is a family-friendly place, unlike an abandoned warehouse. And we just had an open house on Saturday. It was extremely well attended. There were over 100 people there.
Wow.
85 new people.
How did you market it?
Just Facebook.
Exclusively Facebook, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And you got 100 people.
Yep. We did just a sponsored post and got a pretty huge response, and got something like 25 new students, which actually the number is definitely higher now.
Yeah.
But on Saturday we had 25 new students sign up for the session of classes that just started this week, and off we go.
Okay. And I noticed on your website that, at least when I looked at it, you seem to only have evening classes, but no classes during the day.
We actually have our first ever daytime aerial classes now this session. It's something that we've tried to do several times before, but we haven't, even though we know there's a demand for it, people haven't really taken us up on that demand.
Okay.
We do also have weekend classes. Sunday is probably our busiest day in the studio.
So what is your daytime what day is your daytime class?
It is Tuesdays at 1:30, I believe.
Okay.
Yep.
It's a silks class.
And what is silk? The silks are the ropes? And you
Yep, so silks is our most popular thing that we teach. I would say it makes up probably like 2/3 of everything that we do. And that is the 2 brightly colored panels of fabric that people climb up and do drops on.
We have a really cool variety of classes that we offer. We have trapeze, we have silks, we have something called the lyra, which is an aerial hoop. We also offer something called Chinese pole, which is that really very tall pole that you saw people climbing up and down. So it's fun. I actually started as a student.
Really?
And got very, very involved, and now I work here. So.
Yeah, we have a really great, very dedicated student community, which is really awesome.
And did you find that the people who came to your open house were from Woodbridge primarily, or just from all over the region?
I think all over.
Yeah, I know that I tried to talk to people where they were coming from. We actually had a lot more kids from Woodbridge. So that was very exciting because we are definitely trying to expand our children's programming, and I mean, kids love circus, so.
And in terms of the demographics, is it not recommended for people over 35, or is it
no, it absolutely is. Unfortunately, a lot of people think that they can't do it, which is generally not the case. All of our classes and many other studios gear their classes towards people of like a limited athletic capability. When I started Silk, I was like very skinny and like didn't really know like how to use my upper body at all. And it's really great because no matter what your ability is, you can do stuff and feel really good about yourself. Because it's not competitive at all, which is great. That's one of the reasons we love doing circus with kids, is it's very like community and team building oriented. Like, you're not going to get anywhere if you're not working with your peers. And then for adults, it's I think for a lot of people it's a really great self-esteem boost, because you're not working towards like a number of reps, or you're not like seeing if you can run faster than the other person. You're just working towards whatever your personal goal is, whether it's to have fun, whether it's to get stronger or more flexible, or perform at some point. You're just kind of on your own journey, and everybody is journeying along with you.
And I mean, we have people from all sorts of different athletic backgrounds. Like, we have people who were gymnastics and dance, and then people like me who was an ice hockey player for 10 years, and then was like, circus is the logical step to take from this. And people who've, never really been interested in athletics, and they try to climb a silk, or they go on a trapeze, and they're like, oh my god, this is what I was meant to do. So
So you actually have a trapeze set up in the...
It is, we have static trapeze, we don't do flying trapeze.
So what is a static trapeze?
It's the same apparatus as a flying trapeze that you would think of in your head, but it's just one. And instead of swinging the bar back and forth, you're actually more like swinging yourself and doing a variety of like static poses or like dynamic tricks, and it just hangs there. It's very versatile.
yes. Yep.
Do you do performances?
We
Yes,
do, actually.
absolutely.
There's posters right over there for our next professional performance, which is coming up in February. It's going to be at the ECA Arts Hall in New Haven on Audubon Street, and it is a like full-length production that I'm writing and directing, and many of our advanced level students are in it. Yeah, Kayla's actually the ringmaster in the production. Yeah.
Yep. And in addition to that, we also have open stages where students can create their own performance. So we generally have about 2 a year. We're hoping to expand to 3. So it's really great. I actually performed in the latest one. I'm performing in the next one. It's a great way to give yourself a goal, and it's also a great way to stretch your legs with performance. And there's no theme, there's no requirement. Like, there were people who did like very dancey lyrical routines, and my theme was that I was this spooky ghost. So we have a great variety of ideas, and we really allow those ideas to flourish.
And you do that at your space, or?
Yeah, the open stages are at Air Temple, and it's just like, it's kind of like a mix between a recital and like an open mic night almost, and everyone just comes and like sits down on the floor and hangs out, and it's really, they're my favorite thing that we do by far, because it's just really awesome to watch all these students who worked for months on something bring it to fruition, and to such a supportive community. It's really great.
Yep.
Can you take your show out on the road?
We could. This show,
Or not even a show, but a workshop or something?
yeah, we do travel and do workshops. A lot of people will come to us and do workshops because logistically it's much easier, and we know that our rigging setup is safe and secure, and we have all of the mats. But taking like a truckload of 8-foot by 4-foot panel mats is kind of a pain. So we try to avoid that whenever possible.
Maybe there's other things that you could do on
Yeah, definitely. And like we have done aerial workshops on site. A lot of it just depends on the facility and what they have in terms of safety gear, etc.
We've also done things like tumbling, we do juggling, also like more traditional circus arts, contortion, so that handstands, that is something that is an option.
For kids, for...
Oh yeah,
For anybody.
kids are actually a little bit easier because we can bring all of our like juggling equipment and stuff and play circus games and do tumbling.
I'm thinking a vacation camp program at the JCC or something like that.
Yeah.
Might be a good partnership
Totally.
for both of our businesses to work on.
Yeah.
You do kids' birthday parties too?
Oh my yes.
Yes.
Yes, and you can bring your cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
During our open house, there were 3 separate people who like pulled me aside and were like, "Have you tried doing birthday parties?" I was like, "Yes. Would you like to plan one right now? I could do it."
Yeah.
Yep. And we do private lessons, which a lot of people take advantage of. We actually have a lot of people who are beginners who opt to take a private lesson just to try it out.
Yeah.
We offer a variety of taster classes for people who aren't really sure which one which apparatus they would like to try, if they would like to do it at all, but it's really a great way to try it out. And most people do end up signing up because it is really fun.
And that was my question, thinking if I want to take the guys at work for like a team building thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
a one
absolutely.
night kind of deal, or is you have to do the whole course, or?
No,
Oh, no. But, like, for anything that's privately scheduled, we'll work with you to give you, like, specifically what you want. Like, so for team building, you wanted to do, like, a little bit of aerials, but also some more, like, kind of partner acrobatic-based exercise for trust and stuff. We could do that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we work with a variety of people, setting up a variety of different things.
Yeah.
So we're really very versatile.
Yeah, we've done bachelorette parties, which are always a little bit, like, weird.
Those are a little interesting.
Yeah. But,
So you serve champagne also?
No, we do not. You can drink as much champagne as you want after class. But
Yeah.
Unfortunately, alcohol and circus don't really mix very
Never,
well.
never.
Yeah.
Unless you're watching circus, in which case,
Right.
go for it.
I actually find it very interesting. I'm on the board of the International Festival of Arts and Ideas.
Oh.
And,
okay.
And I don't know if you've attended, I mean, they
Yeah,
bring,
we actually did a master class last
oh, you
year.
did?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So they bring in at least a circus each year, mostly often from Montreal. And I attended a couple of years ago a seminar led by the government of Montreal, I
Oh,
think.
I was there.
Were you there?
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. So it was about circus as an economic engine. And I mean, you were there, so you can describe what happened in
Yeah.
Montreal.
Yeah, well, Montreal is, what they've done for circus and just arts in general is really amazing. They've just pumped millions and millions of dollars of their capital into performing arts, so they do all sorts of grants. And actually, correct me if I'm wrong, one of the reasons that all of these awesome circuses are able to come in is because Montreal is giving a grant.
Well, I think it started because Cirque du Soleil was from
Yeah.
what Cirque du Soleil formed by by street performers
Right.
in Montreal, and they wanted to stay in Montreal. They wanted the headquarters in Montreal, and then they grew so much. The government actually saw that it was an economic vehicle,
Yeah.
and so they created a circus university.
Mhm.
I think in a sort of a nasty area. It sounded like.
Yeah, and they really
And-
revitalized it.
Yeah. And so now there were all these little, not just Cirque du Soleil, which obviously went big, but there were all these little circus communities and acts that have come out of Montreal and often are brought down to the festival.
Yeah, and I think they found also that they've I don't even know how many times over they've regained their investment by
Yeah.
investing in the arts that way. Yeah, it's very cool.
Well, we're thrilled you're here.
Oh, thank
I
you
mean,
so
we're not
much.
Montreal,
We're thrilled to be here. Yeah.
but we can provide you with this forum to
No, it's
to
great
have the community
to-
learn about you.
Yeah.
So are you arts or recreation?
Both.
Okay, because we have a website where we have listings. So I was
Gotcha.
looking, well, arts, I mean, because we do have an art gallery that's coming to town, and so, to talk about the arts, I mean, there's more arts happening in town, but then we have recreation as well, so
Yeah.
you want to make sure you're listed on the EDC website. We have the press release that we ran on the economic news side, but we want to make sure we have your business listed, and you just have to pick a category. So as you were
Tricky.
talking, I wasn't sure if
Can we
Yeah,
do?
for-
Can they do two categories?
Yeah.
Our shows
Or-
are definitely
or just do
under
a
the
double
arts
listing and then you can
category,
do-
but
minimum.
for taking classes, that's
Okay.
definitely recreation. So
I would say I would actually probably lean more towards recreation.
yeah, if you had to pick one.
So you want to make sure you just go on, fill out the form, and then just put in recreation, and then you could search by company name too. So
Cool.
people looking for Air Temple, they can just click on it that way and find you guys that way.
Thank you.
We actually learned today that we're the top Google results for aerial silk classes. So that was
Anywhere.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
That was very exciting.
And it's just an example, one more business in town that brings people from out of town to Woodbridge. And
Yeah.
it's just
Well,
another
we're-
business that's putting us on the map.
Yeah.
We're actively trying to expand our instructor base. So we're definitely trying to bring people
Yeah.
to Woodbridge.
How many of you are running the show there?
I think right now we have 9
Wow.
total staff / instructors. Yeah, it generally varies between 6 and 11.
Yeah, we have a lot of currently one of our instructors, Joel, he actually has a contract with a cruise ship. So whenever he's around,
Yeah.
he does some classes for us. So
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for
Yes,
having us.
thank you for having us. This was very, very nice.
Well, thank you for being here and welcome to Woodbridge.
It's nice to see the
Thank you.
diversity of the
Yeah, we're very
businesses.
happy to be
Yes.
here.
Yeah, so everything, I mean, we're in the same building.
Oh,
So,
okay,
you know,
okay.
an IT security company, a dental implant company, financial services,
you.
and,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Okay,
this.
so you can go down for
Yeah.
lunch.
Sometimes I hear whistling through the walls, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we left some posters,
Okay.
some stickers, some business
Okay.
cards. If anybody would like to take
Okay.
some, feel free.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have the Jewish Community Center of Greater New Haven is located in Woodbridge, the JCC for those of us from the East Coast. Some people, yeah, sure. Some people from outside of the area also call it the J. It depends what part of the country you're from. Welcome, Ms. Shelley. right?
Hi, everybody. My name is Shelley Gans, and I'm the director at the JCC. Thanks for inviting us to tell our story. Are all of you been to the JCC? Pretty much, yeah. So you know we're located on 54 acres. We're on Amity Road in Woodbridge. We have a 110,000 square foot building, and we have a number of services that range from early childhood and recreational facilities and cultural arts programming and recreation, I think I said. And we've been in Woodbridge for 23 years. We moved from Chapel Street in New Haven to our current location. We're a very active community. I looked and I just ran the numbers when I knew that I was coming here, and I thought, wow, how engaged are we with the Woodbridge community? And about a third of our members come from Woodbridge, and we've got members, users, people that come in our building and are actively engaged in our community, about 12,000 people. So we have a very far reach, and we cover campers who come from summer camp all the way from the shoreline area. We recently, when the JCC in Bridgeport closed, we affiliated with them in their summer camp, and their summer campers come up to our camp. We bus in the summer from the Bridgeport area. So we've got campers from Fairfield County that also come up for the summer. We have about 360 day campers that come for before camp and a full day camp and then after camp care. We run vacation camps, and we really have care for young families from around the calendar year. So there's no need for parents who are working and need care to be without that care. We provide that service. So we have a spinning studio and a 25-yard the Ryder swimming pool, and we have an outdoor camp facility as well, and run a number of recreational classes. Right now we have a very active high school basketball league that just started that has more members than ever before, and lots of great things. We were happy to partner with the town of Woodbridge for the Wisdom of Woodbridge events and look forward to doing more things like that. We just met with the library about a one read that we'd like to be involved with in the fall when we do our Arts and Culture Festival. We've been in business, the JCC in New Haven, for 104 years. So we're an institution that's been in this community for a very long time. And right now we're moving towards a number of signature events that we try to focus on every year, a number of annual events that have allowed us to gain some traction. In the fall, the founders of the JCC are the Beckerman Lender Building, and we run the Murray Lender 5K run, where we've been growing in participation and in sponsorship. This past year we had $24,000 we raised in sponsorship, and we had close to 300 runners. So we see that particular event growing. We did a Touch a Truck event in the summer in June. We're now in our fourth year of doing that event, and we had almost 850 people that came out that day for that event, and it was very successful. So aside from that, we do an annual Arts and Culture Festival. We do a one night of learning that's happening in January, where we do a Jewish education evening, where we typically get about 400 people on a Saturday night in the middle of the winter for that event. And right now we're starting to take applications for our 12th season of a Largest Loser program that has been incredibly successful, where about 50 people come from all over the area and compete for the largest percentage of weight loss. And we're seeing people that are able to get lifelong results from that and really change their lifestyle. So that's been a very effective program for us. Most recently, I think one of the things that I'm most proud of is our recent solar carports project, where we worked with Connecticut Green Bank, and we're the largest funded project in the state for that, where we are able to meet about 50% of our electrical consumption needs through our solar carports. We've designed a carport, if you haven't seen it, it's pretty impressive, that covers 300 parking spots in our 400 parking lot facility. And we're curious to see how it's going to work with the snow and what that will be like, but we think it'll also be, it's a protective shelter as well. We're in the process of looking at a project that will allow us also to do our roof in the spring. So we're, with the combination of the roof and the carports, about all of our energy needs will be met through solar at the JCC, which is pretty exciting for us. So I think, yeah, I think probably
First night?
first night. Oh, so yeah, so another thing that we kind of saw that there was a need in the community for maybe a New Year's Eve family type celebration. And we decided to, we went to the town and said, do you think you might be interested in coming aboard and at least helping us to promote this event? And so for the first year, we had 125 young people coming out to celebrate, families coming out to celebrate New Year's Eve with, as a community, all walks. Lots of times people ask me, do you have to be Jewish to be a member of the JCC? And the answer is absolutely not. Many of our programs are 50% Jewish and 50% non-Jewish. We see, depending on what the program is, what the mix might be. But we have many members of the community who are not Jewish. And we saw that especially on first night. I think, as the community becomes more diverse, we see that people are coming into town who may not have family members in the immediate area and are looking for a way, and it might not even be their culture to celebrate New Year's the way that we're typically used to celebrating, and we see that they're looking for a place to connect. And so we saw that. We saw a very diverse community come out New Year's Eve to celebrate. Next year, as we look forward, we're always planning ahead, and we see that first night, New Year's Eve, falls on the 8th night of Hanukkah on a Saturday night. So it will be interesting to see how we celebrate going forward and how we market that event. But always a lot going on. We open at 5:30 in the morning. We close at 10 o'clock at night. We're open 7 days a week. And it's an active place in town. We have 66 full-time employees. We employ 232 part-time employees. In the summer, that swells. We bring on about 60 extra employees to help handle our summer camp needs. So we are a very large employer in the town of Woodbridge, and we see a lot of engagement with the town. I'm trying to think what else. We're right now running a membership special. That's actually a very affordable option for $100 for 3 months for families, and that'll be going on through the winter, and we hope that we get some new members involved in our community in that way. And I wonder if anybody has any other questions? I could talk forever about the JCC, so and there's a lot to cover.
Never knew a lot about it. I've done some events with you at the brewery and some of the concerts or summer series. But is it just a membership and then you get to do all that stuff, or is it some a la carte things? You can just go and
There's a lot of a la carte programming, and also our cultural arts events are open to the community, and some events have a member and non-member fee. Grill and Chill, for instance, is another one of our signature events that happens throughout the summer. We do 4 barbecues on our terrace, and typically get about 125, 150 people that come through each time we do that through the summer. And we have some local musicians that come and play, and it's just a place for people to gather and enjoy a summer evening outdoors. It's one of the very few places that also has kosher barbecue on a summer night, so that's also an attraction.
And the bus line, we were emailing about that. You have folks that take the bus for work and/or use of the facility, or?
Yeah, we're on the bus line. The bus stops right at the JCC several times a day. We have many employees who come, and that's the way that they get to work, and also many members that come up on the bus line. So it's great news for us that we're on the bus line, and it's good news for our employees and people who are in our community.
Well, I think that was a negotiated transit issue when
Yeah.
the JCC opened way back when. I think you're the last stop on the bus line,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it didn't come all the way up,
Yeah.
if I recall.
So yeah, it comes all
Yeah,
the way
it
up
comes all the way up.
comes all the way up the hill.
Yeah, for the JCC specifically. Daycare, you didn't mention daycare?
Early childhood
Okay.
center from 3 months old to kindergarten. And we've got about 82 kids, I think, currently enrolled in that. We also run an after-school program, and we also run we bus from about a dozen schools throughout the greater New Haven area up to the JCC for aftercare. In after-school program, we also run vacation camp programming, so that if school's off, whenever we say when school's out, we're in. And we also run a snow program. So if the schools are closed because of inclement weather, if you're a working parent, you know that you can bring your kids to the JCC, and we staff for that. So we're really trying to be a family-friendly place, and a place that makes it easy for working families to really manage life.
For the snow camp, do they have to sign up in advance for
They
the
have
season?
to sign. We need you to sign up in advance because we need certain, for our licensing,
Mhm.
we need to know that we have emergency contact information and all that you need. But and then if it snows, you've got a place to go. What else?
I know I've had the pleasure of working with Debbie Brander recently in coordinating events for the Scarecrow Festival, and the JCC's on board to do something this year on Saturday night,
Yeah.
possibly Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and she's been wonderful. It's been exciting to try to grow that program and partner with the JCC.
Yeah,
So
thank
I'm
you.
looking forward to
Thank
that.
you. Yeah, I think we've been in the community for 23 years, but there's always more opportunities for collaboration. And I think that we're seeing that the more that we're reaching out, and the more that we can all, that's why I was interested to hear the new businesses in town, and to think, wow, could we do a vacation camp? Could they come to our facility? Could we bring kids there? How do we work together? We've got kids in camp. Would it be fun to have a circus day? What is in town that we can all take it? Yeah, what is in what's in town that we can all take advantage of? Because we're a stronger community if we can do it. And if we can all grow together and share in each other's successes. I think that's that's part of what makes it fun to be in a community.
Well, I think the JCC has been an economic engine for Woodbridge. I personally know people who, looking communities chose to locate in, buy a house in Woodbridge because of the JCC, because it was such a nice feature to have a community center like that.
Yeah, and we're reaching out to realtors to let them know when you're taking people in town and showing them what the town has to offer. The JCC is really a huge resource for working parents and for older people who are looking for a place to stay in shape or to engage in community. We're going to be starting bridge nights, bridge tournaments once a month on Thursdays. with someone who's been running a popular bridge group, and I have people that just show up because it's easier to come and play bridge at the JCC than it is to gather at someone's home and try to, arrange for that. So we're seeing that, I know that we were the port in a storm when, in Hurricane Irene and in Hurricane Tropical storm, I guess, Sandy, when the town was without power for so long. We were blessed that we weren't without power. We were with our power, and people came and we opened our doors and showered and powered up and just formed community at the JCC. So it was nice.
You opened the doors and didn't charge
Yeah.
for anybody who came in.
Yeah, so we knew that at that time warm showers and running water were in a town with well water, that's at a premium, and we were really fortunate that we didn't lose our power and were able to provide that service to the town, and so that was nice to be able to do that as well.
But did the national JCC also get involved in helping fund that, I thought?
We did get some funding from
Right.
that. Yeah.
So because it was part of a larger organization, there was money made available from the national JCC organization for the communities that were affected by the storms, and because Woodbridge and New Haven was affected by the storm, the JCC was eligible for funding. I think they would have opened the doors regardless.
Yeah, I mean, we did it before
Right.
we knew that was
Right,
even a
right,
possibility.
right.
It was the right thing to do. So, we're also opening our doors for rental for other organizations in town. So, we have a 5,000 square foot auditorium, and it seats about 400 people. So if there's ever an event that someone is interested in hosting at the JCC, we're able to work with them in order to make that happen as well. There aren't many places, and we've been doing a lot of, chamber events, because we have a facility that, you don't have to worry about parking, and it's handicap accessible. So it's a nice facility in order to be able to do that type of thing. So, thank you. I don't know if any other questions?
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for
And I'm
giving
glad
us
that
this
we've made a
opportunity.
shut-off between. Great.
I left everybody a little swag bag there with
Thank
a
you.
water bottle, and there's some information about what's going on at the JCC. We're running for the first time. One of the other annual events that we do is the craft fair, and it was so successful this past winter that we decided to add a spring craft fair. So there's some information about that as well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
you.
for having us.
Good night.
Jeremy's not here, but we should somehow make sure that he links the Facebook page to both of their sites. Do we have a mechanism set up for that? I don't think so, other than him
Just
being
him.
here.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll just remind him next time. What?
These are mechanisms.
Here's our mechanism, right?
I do have an update on the other businesses under this category. if you want to
Okay.
go over
Yeah,
that.
I did want to do that
Okay,
next. That's
I
great.
just didn't want to move on to the next one if you wanted to go over
No.
that. Because that actually is part of that, because our next speaker next month is the art studio that I found out from Jeremy, the new art studio, 245, where Kate is, and they do have an active website page, and they're having a grand opening, I think, tomorrow?
22nd.
Oh, okay, it's on Friday, it's next Friday then?
Thursday or
Thursday,
Friday?
okay. But they're very active on Facebook as well, so they, I don't even think they've opened their doors yet, have they? I saw the
No, I
sign go
drove
up.
by.
Okay.
My kids actually took from Natasha, who's the owner.
Oh, okay,
When she was in Cheshire.
okay,
before
still
she
is,
was
this
in
is a
Hampton.
second facility.
Oh,
It's an
really?
expansion, yep,
Huh.
yep.
How
And,
about
so-
Friday the 22nd?
Okay, so it's next Friday, will be their open house they're having, and so she's confirmed for our February meeting to be our guest business speaker. So you can see the businesses that have joined us since we started this program, obviously the ones that have been confirmed, and then as folks have ideas and send them over to me, I've got the prospects invited and then updates as to where we are with them, and then on the back side is to be invited, and that list is getting longer and longer, which is great. The last three, 13, 14, and 15 are the brand new businesses that are coming to town. Spice is Right is a new, where Dine 1-1 was. There's a new facility coming in there, Mathnasium, and then the Cafe Blake, that sign just went up last week.
Yeah,
So
so-
I have the contact for Spice is Right in Mathnasium thanks to Jody, who used to be over in the Selden Plaza. So I'm going to reach out to both of them. I just don't have any contact over at the Cafe Blake yet. But yeah, so this is just the ongoing list, and again, we definitely have one confirmed for February, and now I'm just going to start, if we can get another one for February, and start working on March and April.
The other one for Synergy for February, I drove by Upper June Street. I don't even know if it's June Street when you go up. I think it's Hazel. Is it Hazel Terrace?
Hazel
Right.
Terrace, yeah.
So someone my kids used to take music class is Beth and Chris Patella opened up. It's some sort of music, but I think it's a music therapy place, and I could see them advertised. I just didn't realize they were up there. It's a mother and daughter. I'm not sure if it's the daughter or the mother who opened it, but that might be a nice synergy between that and the art studio.
So it's on Hazel Terrace.
It's on Hazel Terrace, and then I was surprised to see that there was some sort of dance studio up there too, right next to it.
Okay.
Which
Yeah, there's a few little places, but I
Yeah.
mean, there's so much stuff that it's a great list we have going forward. It's just a matter now of trying to squeeze it all in. So, I'll continue to try to focus on the 2 per. I know we said maybe 3, but this was great. I mean, 2 of them took up, a fair amount of the meeting, but I thought it was great. So
yeah.
I don't want to over, book the meetings, but I think it's exciting, especially the new ones. I mean, obviously if you've been here, that's great, but if we got somebody new, I want to sort of jump on that and really take advantage of the fact that they're new and welcome them to town. So the list, the to be invited list is not in priority, it's just a list.
Right. Okay, wonderful. Thank you for doing all of that. Certainly, it's made a big difference in our meetings and our welcome wagon for the community, for new businesses. Moving on to the next item. Every year we submit a budget. A couple of years ago, we created this budget, and we keep asking for the same amount. And I assure you, they will not receive the amount that we asked. But I figure we spent the time, we asked for it. If anybody wants to make any changes to the line items, please go right ahead. But actually, I see they've increased. Oh no, this doesn't have the original ask on it. But we need a motion to, if everybody's in agreement, that this should be the proposed budget.
How much did we spend from last year's budget?
Well, this is the projected expenditures.
Projected, right. Was there a budget for this past? Basically, how realistic is this budget? How much does it reflect our actual needs?
They project we're spending almost everything except the clerical, which I wasn't even aware, frankly, that we received. So, I think it's we haven't really spent that much this year.
Because this runs through June, right? Is it a June to June or?
It's June to June, or
Okay.
July.
So
to July
we
to-
haven't, we don't have a firm.
Yeah.
and we still,
Yeah,
because we
yeah.
have the
Right.
next event coming up at the JCC, and so that'll.
We'll go through our meeting supplies is when we invite people and we pay for the food, and we have the mailing. So, professional development is we belong to Circ, so there's a professional fee, and then if there's anything that we attend, then we have to pay, and it comes out of the budget. You can submit, it'll come out of the budget. Printing and binding, we have used money in the past. We actually still send out paper invitations to our events, and so we need money to make sure we can do that. I think general professional services, again, we've asked for it, we had not received it, is money that we can put towards the website to updating. It's not clear what's going on with the town website. whether we're gonna be on the back end or have money to refit. My feeling from the discussions that I've had with the town is that if the town revamps the website and makes it more dynamic, we will go along with that. That's my guess. But it's nice to at least even if we ask and we don't receive it, they know that we need it. And if we don't put it in, then they're going to say, "Oh, we're fine," and we're not. I mean, the website is 5 years out and it's a little static. So.
Do we still have someone somewhat overseeing the website? Is this?
No, we were supposed to. We don't have anybody. Well, we have what we have been doing is we have Betsy Yagla in the office. So, who is the person in charge?
And it's very much up to date. I mean, the art studio welcoming the circus, the new studio, all that's there. So she puts stuff up on her own immediately, and it's always staying fresh. But it's thanks to Betsy.
Yeah.
Well, fine, good. So it's not totally static.
No.
It's not totally static, but it's not dynamic.
Yeah. Well, would this amount here help us to make it more dynamic?
I think it would. I mean,
and who would do it? Is it still Betsy or?
No. That would be
Q.
It would be more for upgrades, I think.
So the same group that does the town site, they would do that.
Yeah,
that's what it takes.
Yeah. I mean, we're pretty prudent. We don't we spend where we need to invest, and but it would be nice to have some money for the website.
Oh, sure. But so again, so that we're in the. Do we have any track record yet? I know that we're new with having this whole budget. So we're now in the first year of the first budget we've had.
No.
So.
Yeah, 2 or 3. I mean, maybe 3.
So looking at the last 2 or 3, is this sort of on the same line as those?
Yeah, it really for us it depends on how many events we have each year, and so because if we have 2 breakfasts, then we will go through our we will clearly go through our budget. If we only end up with 1 breakfast, we're going to end up with a little left over. It's worth to ask for ask to have it, and then if we don't spend it, it simply goes back into the town.
And the ask was there last time for the website too. We just it was not accepted. But last time when we did this, we had that same line item for refreshing of the website. They just didn't approve it. So it's basically the same ask as we did last year.
It's exactly the same ask as we did last year.
They didn't approve it. How dare they?
Well, exactly. No, and they may not approve it again, but at least we ask and they know that. And actually Tuesday evening, if anybody wants to come, I've been called to the budget meeting. Each of the commissions has to go before and defend their budget. So I will do that on Tuesday night, assuming I get a motion to pass this budget.
So we have $1,500 currently.
I did not know that. So if we do, then we can think about actually having someone else, a staff person, come in and take minutes.
So
because my understanding we didn't have.
I agree with you.
What?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
So let's move to approve the budget before this $1,500.
Well, in my conversation with Jerry, when I meet with her, I'm going to say, yes, we would like someone to staff, since we have funding for it, and make our life a little easier.
I think we can.
What?
After they see my minutes, I think you have a good case.
All right, so
hopefully we'll approve it again.
All right, so let's see. Can I make a motion that we approve this proposed budget as presented?
Any second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Perfect, passes unanimously. Moving right along to item 5. I do not have any update on the Steve Grant signage. I understand it's in process, but it will become a big issue for us when we do get it approved, because we will. I would like for our commission to be intimately involved with figuring out what those signs look like, and if there's a logo to be selected for the town, and type and font, and just make sure it's consistent. At least, it drives me crazy when you see 7 different fonts used around the town. And I think part of what we need to do is, in unifying the town and the business district is make sure it has a uniform look, at least in terms of signage. So I'm going to keep it on the agenda until we get an answer from the town, and then just be prepared that we'll spend a lot of time on it.
So I kind of lost you. So is there a work in progress then?
It's
With
a work in progress. So
designing-
you would
designing
so
a logo or
so right now we had steep grant money that was used for the sidewalks. We've spent through most of the money. There was a little bit left, not enough to do another portion of sidewalk, but enough to do signage and logo work.
right.
And
So,
so
right. So again, is that like a work in progress now? The logo work.
So what happened is the town had to go to the state for approval to use the money for that. So that's where we are in the process. And once that's all done, then we will get re-involved and figure out how we're going to go to the next step. It's not just going to be us. Tony Genovese will be involved. They know what to do.
So it's
but-
a town project to come up with, is it a new logo for the town or a new design?
I don't, I mean, I think it's probably in conjunction with website issues, and I would advocate that it all looks the same.
Right.
I don't know that we'll have control,
No.
but I think we should have a big say in it to make sure that we're comfortable with what it looks like. And I just personally would advocate that it's the same, to the extent that anything changes, or it should be the same throughout the town. The issue is, I actually love the seal, but the seal is not in a format that you can actually reproduce it. Is my understanding. There's not a good.
No, I can't see. There's not enough.
There's not a good
wind.
graphic.
There's not enough wind in the room.
Sorry, there's not a good graphic.
I know.
Mine too. This is the town seal, which I think is fine, right? But there's not currently a good graphic to use in a computer generated image of that. And maybe we spend some money to put that in a graphic rather than reinvent the wheel, and use that font to say welcome to Town of Woodbridge. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't even have to be modernized. It just has to be in a format that we can use it and the town can use
A
it.
lot of towns go out and they put out an RFP
Right.
just for the wayfinding proposal, and that's what I had found in my short amount of research, is that it's not just picking it, the whole thing, the signs have to be certain size, shape, all of that stuff, so you can see them from X amount of distance away. Because in our town, obviously, we need it mostly to see them for driving, not for walking, because it's different if you have a pedestrian size sign versus a driving size sign. So I think that's where the town has to do its due diligence, and hopefully some of this funding will be used to help with that before we go out and actually buy the signs, but put the whole plan together and have a good cohesive look for the overall community.
All right, so the answer to the question of who's going to do it then, ultimately, you see the town as putting out an RFP and having some expertise in designing a.
Our experience working with the Yale Urban Design Workshop, and half of us were part of that and half of us were not. So let me just backtrack. A number of years ago, the town asked the EDC, Ed Sheehy at the time asked the EDC to retain Yale Urban Design Workshop to come evaluate the business district. And that was what created the Yale Urban Design Workshop plan that's on the website. And they looked at all of that and made proposals. The EDC was actually in charge of that. We were the sole interface with Alan Plattis. We brought him before us. We brought him out to roll him out to the community, to have them answer him ask them questions about what they wanted, especially the residents and the businesses, and we also met with the property owners. Similarly, I think that as we talk about signage, I would like to have somewhat of the control of some of those the essential decisions made here. So I don't want to just hand it over to staff. I don't know that, I envision us proposing something and then bringing it to the Board of Selectmen for approval, which is what we did with the Yale Urban Design Workshop. But I think that's a vital part of our task here, to create, and actually in the Yale Urban Design Workshop plan, it asks us to do just this,
And I think this is the POCD too, when they adopted part
Right.
of the POCD, so it's part of the town's already agreed to the fact that improve wayfinding and village identity with distinctive signage.
Which was actually pulled specifically
yeah.
from the plan.
Yeah.
So the Yale Urban Design Workshop plan, we advocated as the EDC that TP&Z should then adopt what Yale had recommended into the POCD. And so in fact that picture probably is it's actually
Yep.
from the
Yep.
the Yale Urban Design Workshop plan created for the EDC at the time. So that's how I envision
Yeah.
that, hopefully we'll talk about it and we'll be able to steer it and look at proposals and involve the town. But this should be the point of contact, I envision, for the town on that. In that way, we can make sure that we implement what was recommended.
All right, so the process then, I guess, has begun.
It hasn't begun.
Well, it has begun with respect to, at
It
least
has-
we have a funding request. with
We have a
approval.
funding request and we're
Okay,
just
all
waiting.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, moving on to item 6, I'll turn it over to Yaron.
So we just need to pick a date in April. I've commitment from 2 cybersecurity experts who are
Fabulous.
available the whole month. They're not traveling, so sooner I get them, the date the better. I'm leaning towards one of them because he has expertise in enterprise and small business,
Okay.
and also some feedback in personal security as well. So we just need to choose a date in April, and we can get them on the docket.
What is there a date you're
There's-
leaning towards? you
It's
said?
completely open. Actually,
Okay.
the one I'm leaning towards, this is the first month
Oh,
he's
it's
not
okay,
traveling.
okay.
So
But I
he's-
know you had gotten the note from the town
Yeah.
about all the conflicting dates.
Right.
Okay, I didn't,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I saw. So
Okay.
Okay, so I think it was like
So-
the first 2 weeks of April by memory, but I
Yeah.
don't have that.
Are
in front of
conflicting
me.
dates or they're not conflicting?
No, are not
are
conflicting.
not conflicting.
Yeah.
So
But
I would prefer, because I have my son's bar mitzvah on April 9th, that it be
Okay.
after that.
okay.
And then my only restriction, and then before Passover starts.
Yeah.
The first Seder is the 22nd,
Yeah,
so maybe
So the week of the 11th.
the week of the
anytime,
11th.
Okay.
sometime, maybe later in the week. I asked them
How are they
to be
normally
Philly.
done? So it's just a morning
A
session
morning.
and morning breakfast and
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's up to how long do you think it will
I
go?
mean, it really depends. I mean, we can go on for hours. I mean, this person is a renowned expert, so
I mean, I think we can.
you don't want to make it up.
I think if you
ridiculous.
limit it to, I mean, it's up to you. You
Yeah.
need at least an hour, I imagine.
Yeah,
maybe
an hour.
2 hours.
I mean, I wouldn't go more than 2 hours.
Okay.
Start to finish. I mean,
Okay,
everything,
so typically what's happened is you have, we start pretty early.
Mhm.
I mean, we can start at 7.
Okay.
7:30. I have to.
7:30.
Yeah, I have to look what we've done in the past.
Sure.
7:30, maybe 7:30 to 9:30,
Mhm.
and then breakfast is like the first, half hour. Let people get breakfast, let them settle in,
Mhm.
and then figure an hour
Yeah.
for presentation, and then questions.
Sure. Okay. So, any particular day that week?
And we already have a meeting scheduled the 14th. The 13th or the 14th would work for me.
You know-
I wouldn't do it on a Friday.
Okay.
I think that's people are, by the time Friday comes around, people are really rushing around, I think. But anybody else?
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are all fine for me. So.
Okay.
so we just have to check with the JCC.
Yeah,
I thought
so
we were
could-
good there.
Yeah. So, then I'll reach out to the JCC
Yeah.
and confirm with them that week.
Yeah.
Assuming they're okay with that, well, whatever day is best for
Yeah.
them. Just
Personally, I may need to be in Philly on Tuesday, so
Mhm.
go Wednesday, Thursday, but
Okay.
just dependent on their schedule.
Okay.
And you could just push out the date at this point
Okay.
once you select it.
Okay.
Um,
Then I'll do that. Then I'll reach out and I'll confirm with them the dates,
Okay.
and we'll get them. We're end up with one then. I think at this point, if we're going to limit it for a time,
Yeah.
it'll be good content. It'll have
Mhm.
background focusing on business, but also
Mhm.
personal security, how to deal with stuff at home, things like that as
Mhm.
well. So.
And this is nice because we're just in January, so we'll have ample time to publicize it in addition to the mailing.
Sure.
And I'm sure Betsy Yagle will help us with that.
Okay.
So Rob, you're up next with the Promoting Woodbridge Business Outreach. I don't know if you've had any conversation. I actually had a conversation with Ellen Scalator today.
Oh, I had with the, apologies, but holidays is our busiest time.
Don't
So
worry.
if you can keep this on the agenda, just one month.
So no, that's fine. So while you've been busy with the holidays, Ellen has reached out to Terry Gilbertson, who's the building inspector, to ask him for to pull any applicable forms that are required for the packet.
Oh, okay. I was going to call.
What?
I was going to call Christine Sullivan.
Yeah. So
Same kind of thing.
Christine works for Terry.
Yeah.
So it's already started. So when you're just reach out to them now, and Ellen apparently asked Terry
Oh, that's great.
to
So
do it.
I'll contact them and
Yeah, it's already in process.
thank you. That's great.
Okay. Jeremy's not here, but I encourage everybody to sign up for the Woodbridge business Facebook page. I don't remember exactly what it's called. I know that because I was signed up for it, I received the notice about Palette Art Studio opening, which I would not have seen. So it's a good way. Jeremy's really diligent about pushing out new information, so it's a good way to keep in touch. Down. Moving on to item 9, I have nothing new on the POCD other than that. Other than that, they're still looking to hire the planner to once the POCD. The POCD actually needs to have the revision. The town plan and zoning needs to be revised to reflect the POCD, and the town's in the process of hiring a planner to do so, or part-time planner to do it. I don't think we have any public in session. Jamie, so I'm not going to take any comments. For other business, I know that you had a meeting on exit 59.
Oh, right, yes. Traffic related, I thought those went to someplace. Just continuing to move the project forward on the exit 59 work. This is really the expansion of Route 69 from Woodbridge down through New Haven, and we met with the Director of Transportation for the City of New Haven and the City Engineer to make sure they were on board and there were no conflicting issues or anything. And so this is the project that's basically going to start down in New Haven at the intersection by Brugger's and go to Lucy Street, again along 69, and address all the intersections as we've discussed in the past, and taking them from levels F's or E's up to at least C's or better to help improve the traffic flow in that area. And City of New Haven is very much on board. And then the next thing we want to do, and this comes out of the big picture plan, which was the 20-year plan, was one of the ideas was that T intersection road that parallels Lucy Street basically, and it was a proposal to have a through street in front of Starbucks through Crest. Well, not through Crest, but in front of the Crest property, basically adjacent to where you are. Mm-hmm. And that would alleviate a lot of traffic, so that's another thing that we talked about. The First Selectman's Office is going to be setting up a meeting with DOT along with the City of New Haven, just to make sure that they're sticking with their timeline of 2018 for Phase 1 and look at doing this possibly as a Phase 2 thing. Again, there was a 20-year project with lots of different ideas, but these are two things that will greatly help the town of Woodbridge, will benefit the economic region down there. And so I think it's great that the First Selectman's Office is on this and really making sure that something's going to happen. And it took us 5 years just to get to the point of coming up with something, but things are happening much quicker, which is great. But the other thing I thought was very interesting, why I asked Shelley to touch on the buses, is because of that Q bus line. And they, specifically the folks in New Haven, like to see expansion of the bus usage, and if there's potentially an opportunity for a commuter lot or something like that to help folks get some cars off the street and be able to use public transportation to commute to downtown New Haven. And the more I think about it, I have a guy working for me now that takes the bus. My neighbors, a couple folks that work for them take the bus. I had a guy that interviewed with me today from Milford, took the bus from Milford to get to me. So it's used a lot more than I thought.
We run into the same thing. I have 3 people who take the bus from New Haven, and they're stuck basically further down, they're walking up.
Yeah, that's
So,
what my guy does
yeah.
every morning.
Yep, same thing, so.
And so, you know, so my thought, and the reason I'm bringing it up here is I think that might be an interesting speaker to bring in, separate from our business, but bring in Connecticut transportation and talk about the economic development, the economic impact, and the fact that the business community really uses the bus line probably more than the residents in town.
So the bus line from, does it come up Litchfield Turnpike at all?
It comes up to, at the corner of Lucy Street.
Lucy Street is where it stops.
Yeah,
That's
so that's where everybody gets off to get to our corporate park, as they get off. on the
Why
corner
can't
of
it come
Lucy.
up to Bradley?
Well, that's,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
something-
one of the
I mean, because
discussions, right?
I mean, I think when the JCC was built, Bradley was not widened.
oh, that's a good point. I forgot about that.
So I don't think that Bradley's
Bus
actually,
couldn't do it then.
the
but
bus can, actually Bradley's a better
it would be much better,
transverse.
because that
than
double
Lucy.
long bus has such a tough time
Yeah.
making that turn.
Oh my God, everybody has
Yeah, but then they have the problem of coming out of Bradley onto Amity.
That's true, they
So that's
couldn't
the
do
other
that,
side.
yeah,
That's the other
they,
challenge.
well, they still need traffic light
Right.
there, but maybe the impetus to get a traffic light there.
Anyway, I thought from the economic impact
Yeah, I
side,
think-
the more I
yeah.
thought about it, maybe
I
that
agree.
would be an interesting speaker for
Just
us.
in general, the daily usage, I mean, just thinking about the traffic in the morning and the evening. I mean, nobody in my office leaves before 6 o'clock because of traffic from, Bradley Road all the way to
Yeah.
Canada Parkway is 25 minutes.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
crazy,
ridiculous.
it's crazy.
And it's, they come, they work, we live in this area and we work in this area because we expect less traffic.
Well, like I say, I don't even go to the meat market anymore after work. I used to stop by there, but there's so much traffic.
You can't get there.
You gotta go. You can't get there.
Right.
It take me longer to get there than to get home, and it's silly. But there is an economic impact that people will not necessarily. It's affecting our community. I believe, obviously, the traffic,
absolutely.
and certainly if we can use buses and get some more cars off the road and widen the road and improve traffic flow, and so. Anyway, that was another thing that was discussed at the meeting. I thought that was very
So
interesting.
you discussed having the bus line come a little further?
No. Just
Okay.
the concept of the fact that people do use the bus
Right,
in town, and that
okay.
possibly because it's already going up to the JCC, where could a commuter lot be implemented and put in place and taken advantage of, so more people can use public transportation?
Yeah, I don't know that, usually the commuter lights I think go on state property, I don't know that the state has any property. I mean, they've got the whole,
Just where that T intersection is
Yeah,
in
yeah.
front of
Yeah,
in
yeah.
front of over by you, basically. That's all state property over there.
All right, does the center use all of its lot deposit to lease?
Yeah, no,
Well,
they
that's
can't.
where the road would go,
Yeah.
right?
but there may be, once they reconfigure the entrance and exits, then there might be leftover land to put a small commuter lot. I mean, really where it ponds now, there probably is room.
Where's it?
Does this whole plan tie in together with the additional tunnel work that they're talking about, or is this independent of that?
So
Another
yes,
flying.
so what happened was, we were originally advocating for widening Lucy Street, widening Litchfield Turnpike, and then putting this street in between Amity Road and Litchfield Turnpike. And we were sort of assured that it was on somewhat of the fast track, and then they came up with the tunnel idea. And then they put us as part of a 30, it's not 20 years, a 30-year plan. And so Ellen had come into office at that point, so she, together with Tony Harp, who they're quite close, and so had just come in, and so they went and talked to, or at least Ellen did, went to talk to the Commissioner of Transportation for the state of Connecticut, and said, and really, effectively asked him to carve out the Litchfield Turnpike portion. So we actually have like a separate project number now for that, and we've been pushed away from it, so it's on a year and a half, and they've already taken the measurements. I'm not clear. I think the road between Litchfield Turnpike and Amity Road, you correct me if I'm wrong, is still part of the 30-year.
Yes. But we didn't want the first phase to get somehow pushed aside because of the tunnel.
Right.
Because of that's such a big project,
Right.
and that's, I think, everybody's fear. And as soon as I heard about that, I reached out to the state immediately. Are we still, is everything okay? We're still, oh yeah, everything's still good. So that was a separate communication I had with the state and the contacts I had there to say, yes, we're still on track with the 2018 project.
Good.
So originally it was just exit 59, and they had and somehow, yes, but we're good. We're separate.
independent of it.
But they've done the measurements, So, and I think that, I think, is the funding in place?
Yeah,
I think
that,
so.
that was
So-
a big part of it. And I swear within the last 2 weeks, I've seen a lot more state
Yeah.
folks out there looking at the roads again, almost like
Yeah.
they're revisiting it, which is great.
Yeah, I think it'll happen. It will only bring the intersection. I went to the session. They actually rate intersections A through F. Clearly, that's an F. It will bring the work will bring those intersections up to a C. They ideally want, when in the long-term plan, if they do the whole project, it'll be an A. We'll be happy with the C. Passing grade will be much better than failing grade. Any other business that anybody would like to raise? Okay, I hear that we are having a business happy hour at your
Yes.
place on March, is it 29th?
The 29th.
Okay,
That's a Tuesday, right?
it's a Tuesday, yeah. So, Betsy has coordinated with New England Brewing, which is Rob's business, to have the next Woodbridge Business Happy Hour at his place. And that's a gathering where we don't necessarily have any programming, but we just get anybody who's a member of the business community, even if they're the business in their home, they're welcome to come down and meet other business owners and workers in Woodbridge.
I told her we could do it in the tasting room if it's 40 people or under. And if it's a big turnout, we'll just go into the brewery, but
Okay.
I'll offer a tour so we get to see everything real quick. And
That'll be great.
I guess you're up there tasting too, or?
Absolutely.
That'll be great. Well, we look forward to it. Thank you for offering to host and agreeing to do so.
Yeah, we got the new tanks in, so it's fun to show it off.
Great. Good. Wonderful.
Should put that in the minutes, so you.
We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
One more thing. Anybody wants to come to the budget meeting on Tuesday? You're more than welcome to. I'm trying to arrange a sitter for my son, so if I can't, I may call on someone else to present, but I'll keep you informed. Motion to adjourn.
I'll restate my motion.
What?
I'll restate my motion.
Okay, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimously passed. Thank you, and we're ending at 8:22.